We have discussed terms that deal with the ship itself, but there are so many more that are often used by cruisers. These are the terms that those new to cruising may not be familiar with or aware of at all, but are probably the most important for cruisers to know as they are used frequently by the cruising community. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here to help you make your vacation a success. You'll want to stick around to the end to make sure you don't miss out on any of these cruising terms. Let's start at the beginning. A very good place to start. Embarkation and debarkation. Embarkation refers to the day you first board the cruise ship. You are embarking on your vacation. Meanwhile, debarkation is the worst day of your cruise. It's the day they kick you off the ship. Well, maybe not literally, but eventually they probably would. I don't think it usually comes to that. You will embark and debark at the cruise terminal. During embarkation, this is where you will have to show your identification, paperwork that is essentially your ticket, and have your carry-on bags checked. Debarkation isn't as involved, but you're probably going to have to go through some sort of customs. When you disembark the ship, you usually have two choices: self-disembarkation and assisted disembarkation. Self-disembarkation. This is where you carry your own bags off the ship, and it's what we've always done due to wanting to get on the road as soon as possible. For us, it makes sense to get on the road as quickly as we can since we usually have around a 10-hour drive ahead of us. Assisted disembarkation. You're going to need to pack your bags and set them outside your room the night before you are to disembark the ship. You're going to be given a time to disembark, or possibly you can choose one, and the crew takes your bags off the ship for you. You will need to pick them up at the cruise terminal the next morning. If you're waiting around for an afternoon flight, then taking your time having breakfast on board ship, staying as late as you can, makes sense. Just make sure that you leave clothes to change into the next morning so you don't have to walk out in your sleep clothes. A porter. These are the people who are paid to take your luggage and make sure it makes it onto your ship. They will be waiting for you when you arrive at the cruise terminal to assist you with your luggage. It's customary to tip them $2 to $5 a bag, and the process is very quick. So you're going to want to have your cash ready when you hand them their bags. You don't want to be digging into your purse or your wallet. Go ahead, put whatever you're planning on tipping them into your pocket so you can grab it really quickly and hand that over. Muster drill. This is where you're going to your muster station and learn how to put on your life vest and where you will meet to board your lifeboat in case of an emergency. It's where you muster, not to be confused with mustard. Of course, we have to talk about the etymology of the word muster, which has ties to both Latin and Old French words that mean to show or appear. So you are showing up to the area where you will need to gather if there is an emergency on board ship. E-muster. This is the new electronic form of the muster and safety talk. You will still have to check into your muster station, but you're not going to have to sit there and wait for everybody to check in as well. You'll have already watched the drill and all the information. You just have to literally go and check in and find that safety location. This became popular after cruising started up again post-shutdown. Unfortunately, it seems that some lines are going back to the in-person muster. Disney's gone back. Norwegian attempted it and then went back to the e-muster after a couple of months. I think they just got too many complaints. Your stateroom. This is your cabin. It's where you stay. It's your room on your cruise. Your room steward is one of the most important friends that you're going to have on your ship. They are not cabin cleaners or maids. They are the ones that are in charge of making sure your cabin is cleaned and in good shape, that you get important notifications, you get your excursion tickets, and more. They're the first person to talk to if anything is wrong with your cabin. They can be very helpful. Cruise directors. Now, this can often be written as CD on cruise blogs. Think of them like a master of ceremonies. They're in charge of the entertainment on a cruise. A good cruise director can make your cruise fun and exciting. Depending on the cruise line, you may see a lot of your cruise director as they are front and center of so much that is going on aboard ship. Other lines, you may hardly see your cruise director at all, and they may even serve multiple jobs. The main dining room, or MDR. This is just what it sounds like, the main place to eat. Included meals are served in the MDR for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Some lines will have a sea-day brunch and possibly even tea times. Meals in the main dining room are sit-down meals where you order from a menu. It's similar to restaurants on land, except that you don't have to pay when you leave because the cost is included in the cost of your cruise. Formal night. Many cruise lines have formal nights in the MDR, although they may go by different names. Longer cruises may have more than one, and depending on the line, formal dress may or may not be required to eat in the MDR on formal nights. So be sure to check prior to packing. Before we get to some of the important areas of the ship, if you enjoy this video and maybe even learn something, be sure to let us know by commenting and giving this video a thumbs up. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. Decks. Every deck of the ship is a different level, or what you might think of as a floor if it was a building on land. Lower decks on cruise ships usually are where you're going to find public areas like the dining rooms, casinos, bars, the theater, and more. Middle decks usually are reserved for staterooms, and the upper decks are where you're going to find the pools, buffet, and more. Lido deck. Lido is actually an Italian word for beach, which I always think is kind of funny that there's a beach on a ship. It makes sense because it's usually the main open air deck on a cruise ship, and it's where you're going to find the pools and bars and usually the buffet and sometimes other included places to eat. Promenade deck. This is a lower deck that has a wraparound balcony. Sometimes it goes all around the ship, and it may not actually be named the promenade deck, but it allows you to promenade all the way around the ship. The atrium. This is usually the main hub of the ship. A lot of events will occur in the atrium, and you'll often find many important areas of the ship located there. Is there a term you've come across that you think needs to be added to the list? Comment below and let us know. If you found this list of cruise terms helpful, why not stick around and check out this video on ship terms, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.